You wake in water that used to be warm, 50 tons of muscle, 18 meters of teeth and bone. The largest predator this planet has ever built. 20 million years of kings came before you, and every single one of them is gone. You have not seen another one of your kind in 11 years. You are the last Megalodon, and the ocean has already begun to forget your name. But before we go under, do me one quick favor. If you love the ocean and the things that hide in it, tap that like button and hit subscribe right now. It takes one single second, and it's the one thing that keeps this channel alive. Because this story does not end the way you think it does. Let's go back. Back to when the world still belonged to you. Feel it. The water is warm here, thick and heavy against your skin, and every living thing in it knows exactly what you are. You do not hide. You do not hunt from the shadows. You simply move, and the ocean empties ahead of you. A pod of whales sees your shape rising out of the blue and scatters in silent panic. Sharks a third your size press themselves against the reef and hold perfectly still, hoping you will pass. You have never once been afraid. You have never needed to be. When you are hungry, you rise from beneath, and it is over before your prey understands what is happening. Your jaws, close with more force than any animal that has ever lived. Your teeth are the size of a human hand, and when one breaks, another simply rolls forward to take its place. You are not a hunter. You are a law. And for 20 million years, that law has ruled every ocean on this earth. This is the world you were born into. This is the world you remember. And this is the world that is about to end. It happens so slowly that you do not notice it at first. The water turns colder by a single degree, and then another, and then another. The shallow, sunlit seas where you were born begin to shrink, year after year, until the warm nurseries where your kind raised its young are gone. The great whales, your food, the fat and slow giants you have eaten your entire life, follow the cold into waters you cannot survive in. You are built for warmth. They are not. And so, one by one, they leave. You swim to the hunting grounds you have known since you were small, and you find nothing there. You return the next season. Still nothing. Then you begin to travel farther and farther into water that grows, emptier the deeper you go. The ocean is not attacking you. That is the cruelest part. It is simply becoming a place that no longer has room for something as enormous as you. And then you are alone, not suddenly, not violently, just gradually and then completely. You remember when there were dozens of you. You remember the warm bay where you were born, and the shape of your mother beside. You, so large that when she swam above you, she blotted out the entire sun. You remember other giants passing in the deep, close enough to feel the water move against your skin, close enough to know that you were not the only one. And then, 11 years ago, you passed another of your kind in the open blue, old, thin, slow. Neither of you stopped. Neither of you knew it was the last time. And you have swum every ocean on this planet since, calling into the dark, and nothing has ever answered. Do you know what it is to call into the dark for 11 years? You send your voice out. Across the black, a sound so low that the water itself carries it for 100 miles, and you wait. And the ocean gives you back nothing but the sound of your own voice, returning empty. You stopped, calling a long time ago. You are starving now. Your ribs press against the inside of your skin. Your teeth have begun to fall out faster than they grow back. You are the most powerful creature in the history of the sea, and you are dying of hunger in a world that simply moved on without you. And that is when you find it. It is nothing, a scrap, a tiny shark pup, barely longer than one of your teeth, drifting alone in the cold with its ribs showing and its fins barely moving. It is starving, too. Its mother is nowhere, and by the look of it has not been for a long time. It is going to die, here in the dark, and the ocean will not even notice. You drift beneath it and open your mouth. 1. Movement. That is all it would take. It would not even register as food. And for reasons you will never understand, you close your mouth, and you let it live. You do not know why you do it. Neither do I. But the next day, when you tear open a dying seal, You leave a piece behind, and the tiny thing comes and takes it. And the day after, it is there again, waiting. It follows you. It sleeps in the shadow of your body where nothing will touch it. When the orcas circle, sleek and clever and hungry, you turn once and they vanish, and the small thing presses against your side, trembling. You teach it to hunt. You show it how to rise from beneath, how to feel a heartbeat in the water, how to wait. And something happens that has not happened to you in 11 years. The silence in your chest goes quiet. You are still starving. The ocean is still dying. But for the first time in more than a decade, you are not alone. You start hunting for two. You take less. You leave more. There are nights when it sleeps tucked beneath your jaw, so small that the movement of your gills rocks it in the current, and you hold yourself still for hours so that you do not wake it. You have killed whales the size of ships without a second thought. And now you lie awake in the dark in a dying ocean, guarding something that weighs less than one of your own teeth. You do not have a word for what this is, but you would tear this entire sea apart before you let anything take it from you. It grows faster than it should, faster than anything you have ever seen. Within a season, it is the size of a full-grown shark. Within 2, it is larger than the orcas that used to hunt it. Its jaw is broadening. Its teeth are coming in thick and serrated and wrong, far too heavy for its head. It stops taking the food you leave behind and begins to take its own. And there are moments now when it looks at you a certain way, when something cold moves behind its eyes and then disappears. You tell yourself it is nothing. It grew up hungry. It is only a shark. And besides, you have been alone for 11 years, and you would rather have this than nothing at all. So you look away. You keep swimming. You do not let yourself see it, because 11 years is a long time to be the only one of anything. And a lie you can swim beside is warmer than a truth you have to face alone. Until one morning in the pale light, it is swimming beside you, and you realize you have to look up to meet its eyes. It is longer than you, heavier than you, and you finally see the shape of the thing you have been feeding. The broad, flat head, the endless rows of serrated teeth, each one the size of a human hand. And there, on the left side of its snout, a scar. The same scar that runs across your own face, not a shark. Never a shark. A megalodon. You are looking at your own kind, and the ground falls out from under everything you thought was true. Because if this pup exists, then it had a mother. And if it had a mother, then you were never the last. You were never alone. And it was starving to death all by itself on the day you found it, which means something took its mother. Something out there in the dark is hunting megalodons, and you have spent every day since teaching this one exactly how to kill. It turns to face you, and you understand. The water has grown so cold, and the food so scarce, that this ocean can no longer feed one creature your size, let alone two. There is no hatred in it. There is no cruelty. It is simply the law you taught it coming back, around. Rise from beneath. Feel the heartbeat. Wait. It hits you the way you have hit 1,000 whales. And you feel your own ribs give way, and there is a strange relief in it, because at least this thing that is killing you is your own blood, and at least it will survive. You do not fight. You have spent 11 years searching for another of your kind, and you found one, and you raised it, and now it is finishing you. And as you sink, you look up, expecting to see the shape of your successor above you. But it is not looking at you anymore. It is turned toward the deep. It has gone, completely still. And behind it, rising up out of the black, is something else. Something that does not stop rising. Something so vast that your successor, the largest predator you have ever seen, hangs in front of it like a scrap, like a tiny shark pup drifting alone in the dark. You feel the water pull as it moves. You do not see teeth. You do not see eyes. You only see the black itself unfolding, and you understand in your last moment exactly what killed that pup's mother, and exactly why it was starving alone on the day you found it. Your successor does not run. It does not know how. You never taught it. Because you never knew there was anything left in this ocean to run from. The dark closes over both of you, and the last thought you ever have is that you were never the king of this ocean. You were just the last thing it let believe that it was. So here's the truth. The Megalodon really did rule this planet for 20 million years, and it really did vanish. Around 3.5 million years ago, as the oceans cooled, as its prey moved into waters it could not follow, and as smaller, faster, hungrier hunters rose up to inherit the sea it left behind. It did not fall in battle. It was simply outlived. But we have only ever seen the fragments it left in the rock. We have never seen the last one. We have never seen what its final days looked like, or what was swimming beside it, or what was waiting in the deep when it finally closed its eyes. And more than 80% of our ocean has still never been touched by human light. So no, we do not know what took that pup's mother. We do not know what came up out of the black. Not yet. And if you made it all the way to the bottom with me, then you are exactly the kind of person this channel was made for. So if this story got you, drop a like and subscribe right now, because the thing that rose out of that darkness has a name, and in the next video, we are going to find it. Then tell me down in the comments, was the pup ever really his family, or was it always something else? And what do you think was waiting in the deep? Guess it. I want to see who gets it right. The ocean is waiting, and so am I.